Welcome to another edition of Mavericks TV. Today I wanted to talk to you about acrylamide. If you haven't been watching, if you hadn't seen the headline, coffee causes cancer. Say it ain't so. I know. Does coffee cause cancer? That's probably the first question you asked. Well, you'll be surprised. Far be it for us here at Mavericks to deliver some sort of medical diagnosis or medical claim. That's not what we do. We roast coffee. Before I get into what is acrylamide, how does it get in coffee there, are roasters pouring chemicals into coffee, I thought I'd just give you a little perspective. If you eat white bread, there are 36 parts per billion of acrylamide in that slice of bread. A bag of barbecue potato chips, about 2,500 parts per billion of acrylamide is in barbecue potato chips. What's in coffee? You take your standard Bucks bag of coffee, you're going to have about 150 parts per billion of acrylamide. What's interesting about coffee, by the way, is if you brew coffee, which is really the only way that you can enjoy it, unless you're eating a chocolate-covered coffee bean, is you have to add water. So by the time you get done diluting your coffee, when you brew it, there's between 5 and maybe 10 parts per billion. Not much acrylamide in there. Now, what is acrylamide? How does it get there? Acrylamide is labeled as a carcinogen. And by the way, this is not something that is nationally come up as an issue. This is California. Okay, this is California. So back in the 80s, Proposition 65 required the state to do certain things when certain other things occur in food products. And so here we are. We're now to the point that coffee now causes cancer. Okay, acrylamide is simply this known carcinogen that is not in coffee inherently. It's a byproduct of coffee roasting itself. So that byproduct of coffee roasting acrylamide, as coffee roasts, it becomes a byproduct of the roasting process, is also found in other processes that contain a reaction called Maillard. Okay, deals with amino acids and reducing sugars. Effectively, you'll see this in potato chips. You'll see this in bread, pastries, pretty much anything that's baked that turns from a lighter color to a darker color really is a product of Maillard reaction. That's why the coffee bean starts out green. By the time we're done with it, it's brown. There's a Maillard reaction. Okay, so as coffee's roasted, that carcinogen, basically acrylamide, is created inside the coffee bean. Okay, that's all this is. Nobody's adding any chemicals. Now, what science has found, the FDA has confirmed this as well, is that as coffee is roasted longer, the acrylamide that is a byproduct of roasting actually diminishes. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, wait, Mavericks, you slow roast. How's acrylamide? Is there a lot of acrylamide in your coffee? Well, that's a great question, and we thought the same thing. And because of our commitment here to slow roasting, we can come to you and tell you that we're actually going to send our coffee out to be tested. Now, I can tell you just with like chlorogenic acid and everything else, the science supports a longer roast, which is why dark roasts have less acrylamide than light roasts. And it won't surprise me when we come back with the lab results that we have probably among the lowest, if not any, of any coffee company in the United States, probably have the lowest amount of acrylamide in our coffee, if there is even any left by the time we're done slow roasting. I hope that answers your question. No, coffee roasters are not putting chemicals into their coffee. Acrylamide is simply a byproduct of the roasting process. Look at food products that are baked, roasted, cooked, grilled, one form or another, they're going to have acrylamide. It's just a byproduct of the process of roasting or cooking, producing these types of food products. Coffee is a thermally charged beverage. It's got to be roasted in order to be enjoyed. That's acrylamide. Does coffee cause cancer? I just remember seeing not too long ago the news article, we wrote a blog post on it. 4 cups of coffee a day is very good for your health. I don't know that you could say the same thing about 4 bags of chips or 4 bags of French fries. Leave it with us one last thing to think about. Science doesn't say anything. Scientists do. At the end of the day, the data says one thing. It's people that draw conclusions. And I'll let you